fine.
Sorry.
They can mention.
Oh, you're fine. So my name is Sarah Garza. I'm a legislative aide in Senator Royce West's office, who represents District 23, which is the Dallas area.
Hi, I'm Sarah Danella, and I'm an intern for Senator Royce West.
Hi, I'm Courtney Alexander, and I'm a legislative intern for Senator Kirk Watson.
Hi, my name is David Tate. I'm an attorney and lobbyist for AT&T, and I'm a lot more used to being on your side than this side.
So he's had a lot of practice. He's been in y'all's spot a lot. All right, so we have the timer here. I'm going to set it so you guys can see it.
Okay.
All right, you got 3 minutes.
Okay.
You did great last time, so I'm going to go and just start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hello, my name is Dalton O'Neill, and I am with Project LEAP today, and I will be testifying for SB 602. And state-sponsored living centers have the highest rates of abuse, neglect, and exploitation of all long-term support centers. People should be safe no matter what or who they are, whether they are disabled or not. And the people living in these places might feel safer in their own home or community. And if they don't have one, then they can learn how to live more independently and how to act in a community. Of course, closing all of them at once would be a bad thing because some people have lived their whole lives for like decades. And I know I'd feel safest at my home, and I've had to work a lot to make myself more sociable, and I also contribute that to my hardworking mother who loves me, and growing up in a home with a life that I was exposed to many hardships. Plus, it costs too much money to keep these going forever, and switching some of that money to some of these community projects would be a lot better for the state. And thank you. That's all I had for today.
Good job, guys. So normally how I do it is I'll let y'all, if you want to just give them a little bit of feedback, go through, and then we'll go to the next person.
Yeah. Well, Dalton, I think that was really great job, and thank you so much for providing your testimony today. The only thing I would recommend is maybe to mention the bill again at the end, so whether it's your opposition or approval for that bill, just to kind of bring it all back. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was a very good speech. Just make sure that you're projecting your voice. It was really good.
First, I want to applaud you all for getting in front of us and speaking. Mm-hmm. Speaking for me makes me nervous. I'm nervous talking to you guys. For you, I would say just to memorize it a little bit better. So when you're talking about something that's important to you, you're making eye contact and you're showing that this is important to me, and I don't need to read from my paper. Like, this is my story, and this is something I'm passionate about. And hear me out. Body language.
I'll tell you, I really appreciate what y'all are doing, and I know that you're nervous up there. And in fact, usually when I'm like the third one, I'm most nervous because I know it's coming my way. So that was a very good job, and I really like the way that you wove in your personal experience. I think that really speaks when you weave in that personal experience. It's not just something sort of out there that you know about. It's something that would make a difference for you, and you have a personal thought about that. And I think just looking up, even if it's not memorized, I like at the end where you looked up and had eye contact, and that really, I think, drew us in. And I really like the way you did that.
Good job, man. And let's give him a round of applause for being first. Having the guts. So, one thing I haven't mentioned, you don't get to run away after you talk. You got to hang out until everyone's done. All right? So you don't get to leave. They want you to sit till the end. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep the timer on my phone just because that's a little distracting. So remember, when you get to 1 minute, I'm gonna go beep and remind you. All right. Rachel, whenever you're ready, go for it.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm with Project LEAP. Today I want to testify for Senate Bill 602. I believe that the Texas government has failed to bring this country's constitutional rights of freedom, liberty, and equality to people who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. These people are considered outcast by society, suffering from diseases that others believe make them unable to live among everyone else, when in reality all they suffer from is low expectations. Forcefully keeping them in these abusive institutions is criminally unjust. In the Corpus Christi State Living Center for the Mentally Disabled, videos were released of night shift staff members mentally and physically abusing the people, forcing them to fight each other for their malicious sense of humor. I could stand here for hours giving more cases of abuse against people with these disabilities, telling you how vicious, deplorable, and most of all, heartbreaking all of this is. But since I only have a few minutes, I walk away with these words. I call for reform in state-sponsored living centers, but most of all, I call for the choice to let these people be happy again, to let these people live life how they want to define it, not how we force them to. It costs the state nearly $230,000 annually to institutionalize someone and only $117,000 to let them have AIDS in the community. Senate Bill 602 calls for the closure of no more than 5 of these institutions. Those funds would be redirected to helping them get into the community. That's 50% more people the state could be helping, not hurting. That's 50% more people who don't have to suffer. Thank you for listening.
I got goosebumps. I got the goosebumps. All right, go ahead whenever you're ready.
That was excellent. Thank you, Rachel. And I guess my note for you also would be, I think it's important to just clearly state whether you're for or against a bill, just to start. And then a little bit more eye contact, but that's obviously something you can practice. And then if you're going to be listing out stats, and this is maybe just a note for all of y'all, if that's maybe a one-pager you could hand out to legislators before the hearing starts. You would just hand that off to the committee clerk. And then another general note for all of you, if you wanted to provide a longer testimony, because I think you mentioned that you have a bigger story to tell, you could always provide longer written testimony to legislators as well.
Great feedback. And for them, how many copies should they make typically for like a
2.
Senate committee? Yeah. Two copies?
Yeah, to hand in at the beginning anyway.
Okay.
But for the actual committee itself, however many are served.
How
on
many
the
members are on the
committee.
committee? Okay, cool. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, that was a really good speech, just eye contact, but you had a lot of really good information.
I guess for me, I'd say that you had a really nice voice. It was really clear. Like it was like you're made for speaking and speaking in public. I love your voice. And also thank you for bringing light to this issue and to the committees. I guess their forefront and bringing it to the committee. Also, good job asking what you want and using state aid to make it real for legislatures or committee members to hear like how real this issue is. So that's that's my input.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. I think the passion that you brought across was very clear, and then combined with the actual numbers, and I think many of us are sort of numbers driven, right? I mean, when you brought in there and you compared the number that would be closed, the number of how much money, I mean, you balance that with a true passion, and I think you sort of got attention by talking about it being unconstitutional. I think starting out with that sort of gets folks' attention. So
You knew your audience.
yeah, that was very good. So congratulations.
Awesome.
Good job, Rachel.
And I just want to correct my earlier comment. I think it's 10.
10.
Sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah,
10
10 copies
copies.
would be good. 10 copies of your testimony, your extra data that you have, you could bring to the, yes ma'am, Dr. G.
So you could hand out the longer version
Uh-huh.
for them to read later, and then provide your shorter version in verbally, correct?
Yes ma'am. Yes ma'am. So that's what they're saying. If you have 3, 5, 10 pages that you want of information that you'd like to provide, and you know you can't get to all that in 3 minutes, just make 10 copies and you give it to this whoever's sitting right here, and they'll pass it out to the legislators later. Cool. All right, who's next?
Probably a couple of minutes or so.
You had 1 minute left. Yep, you were right on 2 minutes. So you could extend it a little bit if you wanted to. I didn't get to beep you. I was going to try to beep you and see how you reacted to that. All right. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Abigail Unick. I'm with Project LEAP. Today I will be testifying for HB 2409. I think it is ridiculous how people with disabilities get paid with sub-minimum wage and people with no disabilities get paid with minimum wage or even more money. Under the law, an employer can pay an employee with disabilities as low as $2 or even $3 per hour, which is a fraction of the current federal minimum wage and even a smaller fraction of state minimum wage. An example could be if a worker with a disability produces 50 widgets in an hour and a worker with a disability produces 50 widgets an hour, the worker with the disability might receive half the pay. I think it is wrong to do that, because how are people with a disability going to pay off their bills, buy clothes, and even pay for the house they live in? Our bills will be the same, just like people without disabilities. Thank you for letting me talk about HB 2409.
Wow. That was so good.
Well, I was just gonna say I really appreciate your level of passion, Abigail. I think it's so nice to feel that in someone providing testimony, and I think it really helps a legislator connect with whoever's speaking. I also enjoyed all the stats you provided, and again, that might be helpful to just have in front of a legislator might want to see that in front of them while you're giving testimony.
Good job making eye contact. You talked about, you looked down and you came back up. You looked down, you came back up. And that's really what speaking is about. You don't have to memorize. Good job doing that. And also you use inflection in your speech. It's like one of those really little things that people don't think about, but you keep people listening to you when you use like the inflection and different tones in your speech. So just great job overall.
I'll tell you what I really like, Abigail, is you focused on one thing and you just went after that, and I really like that, because you have a lot of witnesses, you hear a lot of things that you're trying to keep track of it up here, but boy, I knew what you were talking about and I knew what you were focused on, and you got your point across, and I really appreciate that. Good job.
Good job. All right, amigo, whenever you're ready, bud, I got you.
All right. Hello, my name is Zachary Kennedy, and I am a part of LEAP at Texas A&M. I believe people with disabilities should be paid as much and should be able to get a job as well, for they are as important as any other human and didn't choose to be this way. You should at least see what they can do, and if they are up to the task. Everyone should be paid the same minimum wage of $7.25. I hope we can come to an agreement on this and do something about it. Thank you for your time.
Good job, buddy.
Great job, Greg. I really enjoyed how you stated your position up front and then chose to elaborate on that. So I liked that you were able to kind of do it in that order. It really helps the listener stay with you and your message.
Great eye contact again. Your voice is another beautiful voice in this room. I really loved hearing it and hearing you speak about your issue, and also, like you said, going into the specific thing that you were asking the committee members, and then also you threw in Texas A&M, so you won my vote. Yeah, me.
Great job. I want to say again on your eye contact, I agree. I think it was very good eye contact. It was very easy to listen to you. You brought me into what you were saying. It was very clear in talking about wages, and where you offered the suggestions of that, I really thought was good. It was very zoned in, very good.
All right, guys, we have another friend showed up. I'll let you introduce yourself.
He's a hard to get out.
Thank you.
There we go.
And if anyone else is, if you want to step down, if you feel uncomfortable, I love having you up there. You're fine. You're fine.
She's a high school intern, so she's
you're
listening
really
in.
learning.
This
Yeah.
is my first day too.
Hey, there you go. So, hey, we're all learning. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Really, this is what it's all about. It really is, at least from my perspective. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Julie Young. I am the Environmental Regulation Clerk for Chairman Pickett.
Joe Pickett, guys, the one with the Model T in his office. She's here, and we're hoping. We went by earlier, and the door was locked. Everyone was looking through trying to see. So hopefully, maybe after this, we can go catch it. You gonna be back? Cool.
Yeah, I'll be over there.
All right, guys, you can go check out the Model T.
Yay!
Yay! They're excited. All right. All right. All right, guys. All right, young lady. Are we starting over here? You gonna go first? All right, you got it. All right, whenever you're ready, go.
Hello.
My name's Carla Holmes. I'm part of the Project LEAP at Texas A&M. I'm here testifying against cuts to community service because I disagree with how people are being segregated with their disabilities that they have. The cuts of the wages that were reduced, the waiting list that was not so good in number of the 130,000 Texans on waiting lists for about 12 years, with waiting for the critical service with the communities that started waiting more than 14 to 15 years on the waiting list, and other things, rate equal pay, fully funds ECI, helps the kids that were ages 0 to 3 years for therapy with unfunctioning parts that were like they can't walk and stuff, with the disabilities they have. More things were resources with the CFS and the ACS, which the CHS was cut, and the cut of therapy was a percentage of 25%, with no money to get off the waiting list. Thank you for your time.
I just want to clarify, when I beep, just know you got a little bit more time. Just to warn you, you got 1 minute left. You don't have to rush. But wow, you did so good, girl. You've been practicing, I can tell. That's awesome.
Yes, I have actually.
I know you have.
Yeah, that was going to be my first note. It felt you had enough familiarity with the material to where it had this organic feel to it. So I really enjoyed that. You really seemed to know the stats and have a clear position at the beginning, and whether or not you were for or against. And you had great eye contact and you took your time. So, I could clearly follow what you were saying. And then the only thing is at the end, if you get a buzz, you can still wrap up real quickly, so you can, again, restate, your position on the bill. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's clear. That's a good point too, is even if you come to the 3 minute mark, they're not going to just kick you out of here. They'll say, please finish your thought. You can still wrap up, all right? So that beep, that warning beep is you got 1 minute left, and then once your time's up, they'll let you know, and they'll say, please wrap up. They're not going to throw you out. You got time. All right.
First, you also have my vote because you used Texas A&M again. Good use with the numbers. You made the problem tangible, like you made it real. Also, good job naming the agencies that are involved in this and pulling in who's responsible and who should be held accountable for making change. So, and also good job also with speaking and your points. And yes, you took your time. I love that. Don't rush. We're here to listen to you. So that's all.
I'd say too on the substance, I thought you really had the substance down. There was a lot in there that you really unpackaged for us, and I thought that was really good. I did like the eye contact. You paused sort of, towards the end and really looked up, and I think that was impactful. And honestly, even on the beep and the way that you stopped, frankly, I thought that was pretty elegant the way you start. I mean, it's hard if you feel like you're done to get out of that nicely, and I thought you did it very elegantly.
Yes, I agree.
Right, agreed on all their points, and yeah, I mean, we have grown adults who've been testifying for years and years who get panicked when the buzzer goes off and they have to be timed. So yeah, you did really well.
All right, let me reset here. Because I had to beep you. All right, on your mark, get set, go.
Good afternoon. My name is Kirby Contractor. I am a participant of the Project LEAP program at Texas A&M. Today, I would like to introduce a new bill that will increase accessibility in the commercial sector. We are in the age of technology. Citizens can instantaneously access videos, articles, or check social media. Unfortunately, there is a significant percentage of Americans that cannot do so. According to the CDC, 25.5 million individuals are diagnosed with a visual impairment. Additionally, approximately 37.8 million Americans are diagnosed with an auditory impairment. Now, these statistics may sound kind of odd, but I would like to connect it with a personal example. On a daily basis, I encounter websites that are inaccessible. This problem is not only important to me, but also those with a reading impairment. So these individuals cannot contribute back into our community economically or socially without equal access to all materials. So my plan is called the Growth Plan. It contains 3 steps. First, a Texan company will identify a specific attribute of their business that needs to be improved for accessibility for a specific demographic. This may include the property of the building, property of the company, advertising strategies, or usage of products and services. Second, the company needs to adjust that attribute so it is more accessible. Third, this attribute must be tested to cater to that specific demographic. Once this is successful, the company may receive a state grant to incentivize increased accessibility. This is similar to a section of the ADA which conveys that companies may receive tax incentives for implementing accessibility. I understand that the community will not become accessible instantaneously. It will require innovation and collaboration similar to the evolution of technology. I appreciate you for funding this camp and other programs for the disabled. Thanks for listening, and please let me know your feedback.
Guys, I just want to say that was memorized. She was not reading that at all. That was all up in her big old noggin she has. My gosh.
Oh, Pervy!
I got goosebumps. Goosebumps. All right. And you left with about 30 seconds, so you were right on point, girl. Way to go.
Yeah, that was fantastic. You know, you had such a wealth of material there, and to have it memorized down pat like that, you know, great job. And I really liked how you set it up in the beginning. You know, you're introducing a new bill, here's the purpose, here's the problem, here's the background, and then kind of laying out the specific details towards the end. And it's always kind of a nice way for people providing testimony to wrap up by thanking legislators and by asking for their feedback or welcoming their feedback. So great job all around.
Yes, I agree with all of that. Also, great confidence. You came out swinging, basically. You gave us what you wanted. You laid out a plan. You had steps to that plan. Also, kudos for having it memorized. Like, that is extremely difficult. I couldn't do that. So,
And
yeah.
they wrote it yesterday.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Wow.
even more impressive.
Yes, wow, yes, impressive. Yes, congratulations.
Well, my view is that was unbelievable. And as you were talking, I'm thinking about all of the lobbyists I know that I would switch you out for in a minute. That was unbelievable. Not only, you know, memorized, so it was a powerful presentation, but the substance was right on, and again, it drew me in. And at the end, you know, to y'all's point, I mean, you really brought it back to us to you know, to interact with you on that. And I really, really thought that was dynamic. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm the last one again, so I'll say everything that they said, and I just thought you had a really great way of speaking. Just really eloquent, so you delivered it well.
Good job, girl. One more. All right, let me reset my timer. All right, on your mark, get set, go.
Good morning, legislature. My name is Michaela Monroe, and I am 17 years old. As you may or may not know, I am visually impaired. Texas has the second largest population of blind or visually impaired citizens in the country. Along with being visually impaired, a significant portion of this demographic also suffer with mental illness, of which I am one. I live in Waco, which is in McLennan County, the heart of Texas. Unfortunately, in the heart of Texas, it's extremely limited services for the brain. With all the funding for mental health services going to major metropolitan areas, my demographic must sadly go without such services. When I was diagnosed with Asperger's and bipolar II disorder, we found that there were very few resources to help me locally. Initially, my travel time for services was over 1 hour, one way. With over a population of 250,000 residents in McLennan County, I discovered very quickly that our population vastly is underserved concerning mental health. During the time for which the search for more adequate services, my situation escalated to the point of me having to miss an entire year of my schooling. Eventually, I was able to receive services through the Heart of Texas MHMR, which is vastly underfunded, understaffed, and overworked. Through MHMR, I am able to receive medications via Teladoc, which is a remote doctor in another city Skyped in for a meeting. The Honorable Doc Anderson has been leading a solitary battle to increase the funding for mental health services to his district. In the usual case, most of the funding for mental health goes to the largest of metropolitan areas in the state. I feel like this is highly discriminatory. Except for the efforts of Doc Anderson, I lay blame for the lack of services at the feet of the legislature. If the governing body of Texas continues to neglect mental health in our state, then the burden is going to be pushed onto the shoulders of the local cities and governments, which we cannot afford to do. Please remember that mental illness is not something to be postponed. Thank you for your time today, and I hope you take these issues into consideration.
Wow. Man, let me just, she brought in, when she was talking about the Honorable Doc Anderson, do you know who that is? A senator, or, yeah, it's a legislator, Representative Doc Anderson. So she's bringing in other representatives in their efforts to let them know that there is movement and political will to do this at the Capitol. We just need more buy-in. Awesome.
You want me to start this time?
Yeah, oh, that's good. That's good.
Sure, I was like, I'm finishing at the end of it. But, I thought that you really laid it out very well. I like how you made it very tangible for us by explaining that it had made you miss a year of your services, or of schooling, sorry. So I thought that that was a great way to like bring it home to us, because that's kind of what you want to do when you're giving testimony, is you want to make it something that's relatable, that we can understand, versus, you know, sometimes a lot of numbers and things are a little vague. But when you bring it home and like give a very personal example like that, I just think it hits home and has a better impact. And bringing in the representative was a great move as well, because you showed that there is support for that within the legislature, which does tend to like make people listen sometimes a little better. So yeah, really well done.
I couldn't agree more, and I really like the personal experience. Really, this built on your life, on what you've experienced, and again, it brought me into this story that had a real impact on a real person. And you are very articulate. It was very easy to listen to you, and your passion was clear. So I really appreciate it. I thought it was a very articulate testimony. Thank you.
Going along with what they said, I agree with all of that. Also, your posture, it's very poised. I love it right now in this moment as you receive feedback. Also, at the beginning of your speech, you said good morning, and that's like very small, but it means a lot to a lot of people that you would actually take the time out and like, good morning, how are you, greetings, or something like that. That shows that you're detail-oriented. And also you use the representative, like that's specific. That's called the name calling. That's good. Also, good job showing passion with your voice. Like when you're reading and you were telling us your story, it wasn't just, yeah, my name is and this happened to me. It was, I felt this. This is how I felt about this. This is why it's important to me. So good job doing that in your speech.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. I thought it was a very powerful testimony. I also just want to, applaud your courage to speak about mental illness. I think that still can be somewhat of a stigma in society today, and so to speak about that so openly and to lay out every difficulty that you've had in trying to access care, that really hit home with me. And I also kind of noticed how you'd underlined certain words in your testimony, and I think that's just a great way, and general note for everybody, if there's certain, lines or words you want to emphasize, that can really help. So you really, definitely, I could see the time you put into that, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Rachel.
I'm not Rachel.
Oh wait, sorry, you're not Rachel. My bad. All right, young lady, whenever you're ready. On your mark, get set, go.
Hello, my name is Carrie Rentis and I am with the Project LEAP. I will be talking about Cuts to Community program. I do not agree with Cuts to Community program. We have funded in unnecessary areas, and we should be funding and getting people off of a waiting list, disabled people who need help. In order to get off the waiting list, it can take up to 14 to 15 years. 14 to 15 years wasted on putting people in an institution where they could be with the people that they love and in a community. I once had a friend who, she was in high school, she had applied for a waiver for her brother, and she had not gotten the help that she needed. As she was still in high school, she needed to take care of her brother, her mother, and along with herself. Along those lines, fully funding ECI is also very important. ECI is a program that helps ages 0 through 3 be able to deal with problems at a very young age, such as talking, walking, anything that they have not developed yet. Due to the cuts in wages in Section 85, many children have been put in institutions. Would you want to put your child in an institution just because the government will not fully fund ECI? If you really cared for us, your future generation, if you care for us to be caring and kind, that starts off with you. Restoring CFC, HCS, and Texas Home Living will save many lives. It would motivate the disabled people, to become more independent. I would like to thank you for your time.
I thought it was great that you gave the specific example again of your friend with her brother and her mother, and then really I think you're telling us about the amount of time it takes to get off of a waiting list and what those people are going through while they're on the waiting list by being in an institution or something like that really hits home, because that's information not everybody may really know or may really think about, but when you say it out loud, it makes it real. I also thought you had great eye contact, and I think you looked directly at me when you said, you have to make a difference, and I thought, ooh, I should go. I really do need to go do things right now. So, you really had a good, impact with your voice. So I think you delivered it really well.
Thank you.
I agree, and I don't know if you were nervous, but you didn't seem nervous. You seemed very, very comfortable in speaking. I don't know if you do that a lot or what, but you seem very comfortable. You seem like you're having this conversation with us, and a very important conversation, one that you really wanted us to know about and realize our responsibility in this, and I think that really struck a chord. And the way that you said, would you want your child? I mean, it really, I think hit home for me on that. I appreciate your testimony.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree with what they both said. Good job making eye contact. You not only looked at her, you looked at everybody on the committee. I noticed that. Also, you talk with your hands. I talk with my hands.
Oh, sorry.
We connect. I love that. Also, when you use in your speech, you say it's your responsibility. You show that you're caring, you're putting responsibility on the committee members, and I really like that about your speech. And yeah, and also good job for having it memorized as well. You rarely look down to kind of like get your key points to keep going. So yeah, good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I felt like it was very conversational. I really felt like I was, having this dialogue with you, despite the fact that it's your personal testimony. And I think also just kind of the way you presented your testimony, like taking that pause after you asked, would you want your child in this situation? That really helped it sink in, I think, for us sitting up here. So I think that was a good speech technique.
Thank you.
Good job. Man. Another great group. All right, who's next? Who's next? All right, give me 1 second. Let me set my timer. All right, on your mark, get set, go.
Hello, my name is Kendra Mitchell, and I'm actually a part of Project LEAP that is held at Texas A&M. I came here today because I actually have a growing concern about gun control. I was told this was a hard topic, but after this NFA shooting, I knew I needed to look into it. And even though my disability, which is Asperger's, makes it hard for me to understand things, but the numbers I saw, which were 23 incidents where a gun was fired off at a school campus, which would mean there is one per week this year so far. And actually that the New York Times had found that did a statistic after the Parkland shooting that of 235 mass killings, 22% of them were could be linked to actually mental illness. Now, I came here today because I want to present an idea about what we could do to stop this. My idea is, what if we did like testing? We do mental testing and see how they think. And maybe we could actually catch the ones that have mental illness, and where it has every few years they have to redo it to be reevaluated. And maybe we could get that number down. So thank you for your time, and I'm welcome to feedback.
Wow. So good. You had 1 minute and 15 seconds left, and you did it off the top of your head. Wow, good job. And I noticed that you changed some stuff from yesterday. So you were thinking about, how to present it to your audience. Good job. Good job.
Well, I really enjoyed your eye contact. The stronger the eye contact, the more likely, legislators going to keep their eyes on you, and they're not going to get distracted by whatever's in front of them. I also kind of enjoyed how you named your disability at the end, or at the beginning. I kind of like it. It just felt more personal in that way, that I was, able to connect with you immediately. I liked the stats, the pooling of articles, the references there, and your idea was strong, and I enjoyed the way you kind of wrapped it up as well. So great job.
Also, my first note in here is wow. That's all I have to say. Wow, because you really know how to pull people in. I almost forgot to take notes on you because I was just watching you and just like listening to your story and what you were testifying on. Also, your eye contact was amazing. Good job having it memorized. And also, there was a point in your speech where you can kind of tell where you were like figuring out where you wanted to go next, but it was great because you took a pause. You didn't use a filler like or anything like that. That was amazing. So great job. Note to everybody, forget, just take a pause, just like she did. I love that. And that's all I have.
I couldn't agree more, and I want to focus on how much I appreciate you bringing a solution rather than just a problem, because it's one thing to tell the legislatures there's a real problem. There's another thing to say, and here's a solution to it. And I think it was a substantive solution, a worthy solution. It's clearly something that you thought through, and that really came across in your testimony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree with everyone else as well. And yeah, I think saying 1 per week shootings really brought it home. Yeah. So that we've all heard the news, but saying it like that really made us, I think, listen, like look up and go, whoa, you know, that's an impactful thing to bring it home like that. And then when you kept going and said the reason that you're here today is, you know, like that's a good way to get our attention, so that we're all of a sudden going, oh, okay, she's now she's got something, you know, that she's really trying to pull us in on. So I thought you did that very well.
Great. All right, amigo. You listo? All right.
Hello, I'm Medina Waye. I'm from Project Leap. I will talk about the deaf awareness. There are not much of deaf people in this world. Pronunciation are like 5% or 66 million people has disability hearing loss. For adults, it's 40-32, and for children, it's 34 million. It is animation that by even in every 10 people will have disability loss for hearing. Like, a lot of people don't know sign language. Like, every store, even a deaf person wants to go to the store, buy groceries, or go out to eat. Not a lot of people know sign language or makes fun of them. They're not different from us. Like, I saw in the news, a couple, a wife and a husband, went to KFC, wanted chicken, they were hungry. A lady covered her mouth, started laughing at them because they were deaf. And that kind of got me mad. And I think every store, restaurant, school should have sign language. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day.
Good job, man. You did great. You're all right. Shake it off. You did good. It's finished. Good job. Awesome. You did so much. I can see you changed a lot from yesterday. That was great.
Yeah, I thought that was really strong. You know, I enjoyed all the stats you listed. I could tell you were a little nervous at the beginning, but once you kind of started talking about your personal experience around the issue, you became much more relaxed, and I actually think that was a strength for you, and you could almost maybe just provide written stats and focus on your personal experience. But otherwise, very strong delivery, and thank you so much for your testimony.
Yeah, I was just about to say that you could tell you were a little nervous, you know, those jitters. But then, as soon as you got to your own personal story, you were like, I know this because this is my life, and I'm not nervous about telling the world this. And I really applaud you for that and telling us that story and sharing those stats with us.
You know, I don't think there's anybody in this room that has not been in a position of being nervous when they're about to testify or in the middle of it, and therefore, when that happens, frankly, everybody's rooting for you. Over here, we're rooting for you because we've been there, and so that didn't take away. And when you started telling the story, became very powerful, and in doing that, I think you really made a great point for all of us, and that is, to me personally, the best testimony is storytelling. It's telling the story. Now, getting the stats in, showing the research, that's great, that's very important, but telling the story, and you became a very powerful witness when you began telling your story. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree, and you know, I'll also say that I think people without certain disabilities don't know what it's like for other people. So when you brought up the KFC example, I think it made me sit up and think, oh yeah, even just a drive through or going up, that would be impossible, almost impossible, you know. And everybody likes their Frosty. So, you know, I think it was a really great way to give us an example that we would sit back and go, oh, that is a significant problem. And a lot of people wouldn't have thought of that if they didn't have a friend or family member or someone that had an issue like that. So I think you did a good job bringing that up.
All right, you ready? You gotta get that microphone figured out. Where's it at? right, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Millie Martinez from the Project LEAP, and I am testifying for more improvements in the foster care system. After high school, I would like to pursue a degree and career in social work. I believe that social workers deserve a higher pay rate and more time off. The public should be educated about the foster care system and the struggle that kids and adolescents go through, so they can spread awareness and be more appreciative of the families they have. Kids and teens in the foster care system have a lot of trouble with trust and building and maintaining relationships with people, so it would be helpful for them to have emotional support along the way. There could be programs in place for foster kids of all ages to come together and build relationships that can last forever, because all kids want in life is to have a good family to love and support. 17,151 kids were moved out of the system. 27,895 kids were put in Child Protective Services. The foster care system is beneficial for kids and teens because it provides them a family to love and belong in. The foster care system is also beneficial for parents who are unable to have children of their own. Thank you for hearing my testimony for potential changes in the foster care system. If it's one thing you get from this speech, please remember that DNA does not define a true family, because all you need is love.
So good. I noticed that even from just a little while ago, you've changed your speech a little bit and elaborated on some stuff. Am I right about that? You're so good. Man, you're smart. All right, I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I thought you did a really great job. You had, no breaks in your testimony, but you delivered it really well in terms of it wasn't monotonous. You spoke with a good amount of feeling to where we could all see that this was an issue that was very personal to you. And discussing the foster care improvements and specific things like higher pay and more time off, and then talking about program suggestions were all ways, I think, to make us kind of sit up and pay more, not that we weren't paying attention, but just to, kind of draw us in a little bit, which I thought was well done.
I agree. I think your pace and the tone of your voice and the style with which you delivered that was very, very powerful. I agree. I really like how you gave, not only laid out what the situation was, but gave some solutions to that. And I have to ask if I can borrow that last line about DNA doesn't define a family, because I would really like to steal that. That was a great line to be able to end with. And frankly, it's one of those kinds of lines that'll go with you for, if not forever, for a long time, because it just crystallizes it. And I had to write down and quote it, and I'll be quoting you for a long time. It's a great line. Thank you.
Yeah, basically what they both just said. You are amazing. I could tell you had it memorized. Also, good job you showing the benefits for parents and children, and also the great use of that line. It's just going to stay in our minds. We're all going to go home with that, and that's what you want to get out of your testimony. You want them to go home with what you said and remember you. So yeah, I'm definitely going to remember you from this day. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, just to echo what's already been said, your ending really, summed up beautifully your testimony, why you're here, discussing relationship building, emotional support, and, the benefits of providing, further programming around that in the foster care system. And I just want to say I really love how everyone's speaking on such different and diverse issues. And you had it fairly memorized and very comfortable delivery, and thank you so much.
Hello? Hello?
My name is James. Today I'm with Project Leap, and today I am here to testify for SB 2602 and for more people with special needs to be in the community, not in the institution. Institutions are a bad idea for everyone. They can be dangerous, then get hurt. SSLCs have the highest needs of all. Abuse, America, and education. I think these people should be out and not hidden away. It might be harder to see family members. Everyone should be able to live in their community and be free in the community. They can spend time with their family members. They can have their own choices and learn to be independent. I have special needs. My friends have special needs, but we can do everything what everyone else can do. Even if you have special needs, or problems, or seizures, it is better to be in the community. We do not want to be hiding. We should be in the community like everyone else. Thank you for your time.
Wow! With 5 seconds left. Good job, buddy. You had 5 seconds left. You used all your time. Way to go, dude.
I think what I loved is that just being here today and providing your testimony, you yourself are an example of what you're advocating for, and just that in itself is super strong. I enjoyed how you laid out the problems very clearly, the dangers, and then backed it up with some stats to support providing evidence in that way. And I also enjoyed how you clearly stated that you're for SB 2602 at the beginning. So thank you so much.
Also, you look great. You look very
you look
professional.
sharp.
Sharp. Thank you for dressing up. I mean, we're not the committee members, and I appreciate how you look today. I'll just say that. Also, great eye contact. You looked up. You tried to connect with us. Well, you did connect with us. Also, I agree that people should be out and not hidden away. I can hear you, like, that was important, and that issue was important. I can hear your passion in your speech. So thank you. Great job.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things that has been said, and I want to emphasize it, is that you did come right in and say that you were testifying, regarding the SB 2622 and exactly what for. And I like that, and I think that's going to be important as a practical matter whenever you're doing this. And so I think you reminded us that, yeah, that's an important thing for folks to put into their testimony. And so I appreciate that. And I also want to agree very much about your eye contact. I mean, you made it a point to look up throughout that, and whatever challenge that may have been, you made that point to be able to look up at us, and I think that brought us into it even more. the substance was great. I mean, you made your points right in there, and again, right on the time limit. So great testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I agree. Specifically listing which bill you were here for and specifically what you're asking for is good. And yeah, regarding your position, you stated your position, you don't want people to be institutionalized, they should be in the community. You backed it up with reasons why, and then you brought us back to that at the end and made it a more personal issue, so we would be thinking about, if someone that we cared about was locked away somewhere and how miserable that must be, so I think you really made it a more real situation for us to think about.
All right, friends. We need another 4. We need another 4. Another brave souls. My professional agitators. He's coming up. He's going to agitate some folks. You ready, bud? Ready. Yeah, wherever you want to sit.
I know Senator Coulter too.
You talk to him We got 2 more spots. 2 more spots. 2 more spots. Anybody else ready?
On this phone call? Oh, my video.
This is my favorite part, when I get to try to twist your arm to get up here, believe it or not.
We don't want to break anyone's body's arm.
No, I wouldn't break anyone's arm.
Okay, don't do that.
Okay.
Promise?
Yeah. Man, you ready to do it? All right, amigo.
Wait, right now?
Right now. It's okay. It's all right.
Okay.
Oh, wait. You want to go, bro? Where were you at? You want to go? Yeah! I knew you wanted to go. He's dressed. He's dressed. Here, you want to scoot up? Can you sit in there? Make room. Can you get? Okay, we're good. No, you guys got room. All right, bro. Shake them haters off. You got it. All right.
All these haters.
All these haters. You Mark?
All right.
Set. Go.
Hello, my name is Anthony. I am part of the LEAP program today. I am testifying for HB 2409. I think it's ridiculous that people with disabilities can be paid less than minimum wage. These individuals might not know that minimum wage is $7.25. Even though they are working just like everyone else, they are being taken advantage of and not being paid what they have earned. They may not be able to pay their bills or help their family. If they're not paying for their things, then the bank will take the things and they can be evicted. I think that the minimum wage should be the minimum wage, and nobody should be paid like that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Perfect, bud. Thanks for getting up there, man. You did great. You did great. One thing I would say is, don't forget to get that microphone to help talk into.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right that we can hear you better. But you did great, and don't forget to say thanks at the end so we know you're done. But you did good, buddy. You did good.
Again, you kind of brought it home to us, talking about how people can get evicted and, how minimum wage should be minimum wage regardless, which I think is something that needs to be brought to people's attention. Because those are things that maybe people without disabilities or, again, without a connection to someone that does have a disability really understand. If we don't know something is happening or even quite understand how it's happening or how it's having an effect, then we don't know what should or could be done to change it. So you brought that in for us.
I really like the way that you did say what you were for, that you were for this bill. And again, I think that helps, and for everybody who's doing that, that's really good. I'll tell you, when you looked up several times during this, and when you did, I'll tell you what, you drew me in, your expression. You have a very nice and passionate, it was something that frankly I would have loved to have seen your face even more on that. So it was really good. When you looked up, it was powerful and it drew me in. So thank you for doing that. And the more you do that, I think the more you're going to bring folks in, because you've got a very passionate look when you look up. Thank you. Good testimony.
Yeah, I could tell that you were kind of nervous, but you did amazing. And if you keep practicing, all those like those jitters that you feel, they're gonna go away. Because literally, to be nervous is to like say that you don't know what you're doing, but you absolutely do. And so like I would want you to be less nervous, because what I just saw today just shows me that you can publicly speak and you're amazing. And I love your use of your house bill. So yeah, like I said earlier, I get nervous talking to you guys, and nerves are natural, but also like you're amazing, and just keep speaking. That's the only thing I have to say.
Yeah, I enjoyed how you laid out the real life consequences of that kind of policy, and also as you practice, you'll get more confident in your testimony. And I've always found it helpful to practice in front of a mirror. I don't know if any of y'all did that before you came here today, but yeah, that's a good technique to use if you're looking for one.
Hello, my name is Tristan Cho. I'm from Project LEAP, and today I will be testifying for college faculty to abide by all accommodations by the ADA and Disability Services. In the community of college students, there are a total of 11% who face disabilities of some sort. However, many of them face a college professor rejecting their accommodations, causing emotional stress and long procedures that are unpredictable. I propose for a bill that will help people with disabilities to secure a hold on accommodations they need in public colleges. The main source of this problem is the professors who are unwilling to help the students and ignore their accommodations. Many students who are rejected either struggle through the college course or drop it, making the student feeling discriminated against the students who don't have disabilities. Additionally, professors will try to discourage the students with disabilities, while the other students can't take it without being discouraged from the course. This bill requires zero funding and only a more rigid rule against the professors at colleges. Although the ADA, American with Disabled Act, require all colleges to allow students to have accommodations and to be offered the rights, professors still ignore most of these rights and deny students from getting the accommodations. Thank you for listening to my brief testimony.
Oh, it was so good, man. You were right at 1 minute 30 seconds. That was awesome. That was really good.
I thought it was good. You gave us some good information as far as telling us that there are professors who outright ignore students and refuse to accommodate them, which I think, I don't know about everybody else, but it made me mad, that they would be doing that to people. And that we do have the Americans with Disabilities Act, and we have certain precautions in place, but they're still being ignored. So it made it kind of more impactful as far as explaining to us why we would need a legislative solution, maybe universally across all of the, educational systems in Texas to provide that. And you were very well spoken, but what does your button say?
It says, I'm a professional agitator.
Okay.
He won that last night. He won that from me. I've been trying to give it away for like 8 years, and he won it. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. 10-ish.
Tristan, I thought you did do a very good job. You seemed very comfortable with the subject, very comfortable in speaking. And, as you were talking about that, I literally began to think, okay, what is the fix for that? And you challenged me to think, is that a bill? Is that enforcement and compliance of existing law? I mean, you really started, a real challenge for me, and that says to me that you've really got the substance and you're really making the argument well. And congratulations, good testimony.
Yeah, everything that they said. Also appreciate the topic. college is hard for everyone, and especially hard when you need accommodations and the professors aren't understanding to that. I'm in law school, you know, so there's certain steps, and I have friends that need accommodations to take exams. So for me to hear that, you know, certain professors in different schools aren't doing that for other students, I like that impacts me, because I understand the struggle and the you know, with getting grades and getting good grades, and nothing should keep anybody in this room from getting the grades that they deserve. So yeah, I appreciate your topic. That's what I would say.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And you know, I agree with that point. You know, I'm a student at LBJ myself, and I have friends and know people that have just chosen not to try to go through that accommodations process because there's too many hurdles, it's too difficult. And so this definitely hit home with me. I really appreciated your knowledge of the issue, and you're very fierce. So thank you so much for your testimony.
Thank you.
All right, bro, you ready? All right. I'll take that as a yes. All right, whenever you're ready.
Hi. Isaiah Rubio, representative of Project LEAP. Testimony. What does it mean to be alive? For a lot of people, that answer is really simple. But if you're anything like me, the answer is more simple than quantum physics. Life is complicated, and being disabled doesn't help. In a world where it's easier to buy drugs than it is to find empathy, and where people care more about the lives of puppies than they do their own peers, I'm pretty sure that Congress isn't concerned with the voice of our sufferers, but that's why I'm here, to testify against the law of SB1. Because it's community service. That's all.
Good job, man. I thought for a second you were going to bust into a rap. That was awesome. That was really good. A rap on a rap testimony. I think you come up with something. That's $1 million idea right there.
Yeah, I agree. It was very engaging. It was poetic. I loved how you opened with a question. That kind of drew me in immediately. So I think changing it up and kind of making it stand out from, you know, testimony that we often hear like that. That was just fun. Thank you. Fun and an important issue.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just want to call you Rico Suave, because you're so
yeah, so
smooth. You're confident and delivering that speech. Like it was a great flow, great tone. I also want to know, what else do you do? Like that was great. Like do you do poetry?
I'll write and I'll rap.
I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrific, and I you know how we often say, well, you know, you start with this is what I'm for or against on that, but this was, you know, this is the exception that proves the rule. I mean, this is where you didn't start out with it, but I'll tell you what, when you got to it, it was powerful. You laid that groundwork, and then you came down and said, I'm against SB1. I mean, you know, it's like I was trying to figure out where this was going, and when it went, it just clicked why you would be, and that was very powerful, very creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with all that. Yeah, really well spoken, and throwing down those examples, like it's easier to buy drugs than it is to get empathy. Mm-hmm. And then people care more about, you know, puppies than they do their peers. First of all, good alliteration.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah, I'm still on that one too.
Yeah.
I'm taking out.
good examples, because yeah. So I think you did a good job at drawing us into it.
Only thing I'd say, buddy, is I wanted to hear a lot more. You had more time, so don't be shy, man. You have a lot to say. You're passionate. You know, give us some more. We want it. You left me at the edge of my seat. I was like, oh, the show's over already, dang. So it was great. It was great. All right, bud. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I'm Raphael Farelli. I'm a representative from LEAP. And I just wanted to touch on different problems that I haven't seen change dealing with, like physical therapy and I think it's
Is it occupational therapy?
Yes.
Yes.
But when I was in another state, they kind of stopped it when I
got in 5th grade, and I was trying to figure out why. And to be honest, I don't think it should have ever been moved out of school, like middle school or higher grades, because like that actually helps you develop more to where when you get to college, you'll know how to like pretty much talk up and advocate for yourself, like they're doing here in LEAP. And I feel like it should be more involved in school like it was before. Like, I don't think they're actually thinking about what we need to learn. And I feel like they're just like, kind of like saying, oh, okay, they'll be all right, they'll learn eventually. But anyways, like I was saying, even with my disability, I don't think they really pay attention to how we go through life every day. It's like, it's very hard, knowing you can't really do things. And I think they should add like more activities and allowing us to be more active in the communities, showing and telling people about our disabilities, because I think it's a lot to learn from us and just shutting us out. And that's all I have to say.
Good job, man. Takes a lot of guts to get up there. I know it takes a lot of guts, and I appreciate you doing it, man. I know that takes a lot of guts.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I will say I wanted to know which state, that you were.
I was in Florida.
Okay. So I had questions, but that's also not always bad, because then you make us engage more and kind of think about it. So sometimes you can put some information in and leave some out, and then people have questions. I will also say that people in Texas are proud of themselves. So when you say this other state didn't do something for me, then we think, well, we want to show them up. Like, we want to find out how we can beat them, right? That's just the way we are here. And then telling us that it was important to teach you how to advocate for yourself was important. I think that made me, kind of realize that you're right. If you don't get taught how to do these things from a younger age, then when you're out on your own or face a situation by yourself, if you don't know how to utilize those skills, then you're at a very big disadvantage. So telling us about that is good. I think maybe a few more examples there would be good, because we don't know, in what ways you might need to advocate. I mean, I can think, try and think of things, but if you give us good examples, then we'll have a more concrete idea in our head. But yeah, I thought that was a really powerful statement.
Great. I'll tell you what really jumped out at me on this, Raphael, was your personality came through, and that was powerful. The way that you were comfortable. I mean, you may not have felt comfortable, but you came across as comfortable. And we were just with you. We were with you and your experience and what had happened in the other state, your point, and we were just, or at least I was sort of living through that testimony and seeing the reality. I mean, it seemed like you were trying to tell us, look, this is how it really is. This is how it really is, and this is why it really needs to be this other way. And I really appreciated that, again, in terms of the storytelling of your life, and I thought that was powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with both of them. Also, I felt like I was listening to my friend speak. That's how comfortable you made me feel listening to you, and like your conversational tone to your voice was just amazing. I appreciate that. Also, I believe community involvement is an excellent idea. A lot of people should be aware of, what's going on outside of themselves. And I believe that, asking for that isn't asking for too much out of this state. You also spoke what was on your mind. You didn't really rely on paper. You just said, this is how I feel about it. This is what I want to bring to you guys. And this is what's important to me. And I love that about you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your testimony, and I guess I echo, everything they're saying, and just to try to build on it or offer some of my own feedback. I I enjoyed kind of your humorous transition, like of bringing it all back. Like all you said was the word but it was, you know, it was kind of funny, a funny moment. And any opportunity you have to like maybe inject a little bit of humor, I think why not take it, because it's always it can be very relatable and it can engage, you know, whoever is listening in on testimony. Yeah.
Do we have one
I'm
more
gonna see, I'm gonna
straggler?
double check in on
Okay.
her. And I wonder if anyone picked up on the fact that comedy is good for when giving
I'm
speeches.
thinking about going on.
Oh, okay.
I think you should. I was wondering when you were gonna go up there.
Come on, you can do it too.
Thank you so much. I ain't got nothing written down. I'm gonna freestyle like you.
Freestyle it.
He's gonna freestyle.
Good job.
Somebody should do it.
Do you want me to sit next to you?
I go afterwards.
Okay,
well, sit
well,
right
you
there.
can sit right there. Do you want me to sit next to you or stand up?
Alright, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Who's going first?
You are.
Ladies first.
She wanted you to go first, is that all right?
Okay.
Thanks, man.
My name is Nick Ramos, and I am from the LEAP project. And I'm for Bill HB 2409, which is against sub-minimum wage. I feel like if a disabled person, like me, if I could perform the same task as somebody without a disability, I should get paid equal as that person. And I recognize that this world is not perfect, but piece by piece, if we work together, we can, we can get it popping. We can get this world going like how we want it to. And all we have to do is vocalize our concerns and push forward peacefully, and we can accomplish whatever we want to accomplish. Thank you for listening to me, and y'all have a good day. I was trying to think of something funny to add into it. No lie.
You said keep it popping.
Yeah, keep it popping.
I liked that. It was a very organic, friendly delivery. You know, I liked the way you wrapped it up at the end, just thanking us for our time. You know, wishing us a good day, like the little things, right? So yeah, it was great delivery. Thank you.
Yeah, and you also look professional as well today.
Mhm.
Your
Very sharp.
tie and dress shirt and pants looking very poppin'. You're also memorable. You also have a great voice. When you speak, it's really just smooth and you know
Rico
you're.
Suave.
Yeah, another Rico Suave.
No, I'm the OG. I'm the original.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed your speech. I don't know why it took you so long to come up here because you're a great
Right.
speaker. So I want to hear from you again. So I look forward to your testimony.
I could hear your voice on the radio, on any announcement, and he's very, very engaging. I mean, it's easy to listen to you. And it was just very professional. It was just, you got up there, some minimum wage, I'm here for this. I mean, it was just right in there, very professional. And it wasn't long, but it got right to the point. And frankly, although I always encourage folks to use every, second that they have on that, there are times when everybody up here will appreciate a shorter one and, want to get right to the point. And yours did, and I think it would have been appreciated by everybody. I certainly enjoyed that. Thank you.
Especially when you're when maybe previous testimony has been given on a similar issue,
Yeah.
you can always say, I agree with the previous testimony and maybe add your personal comments. But yeah, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I agree. I like that you reminded us that bill was against sub-minimum wage, just to make us sit up, remind us a little bit. Keep It Poppin' was funny. So, something that kind of breaks it up, adds a little levity is always good. And you have a lot of confidence in your voice, which is a good thing. And I'll say that I've had a lot of jury trials as an attorney, and I've picked a lot of juries and had to give a lot of speeches. And everybody gets nervous, but you don't show it. Even though you had said back there that you weren't prepared and you were going to go off the cuff. You didn't show that you were nervous or anything. So,
I don't know what happened. I was like, you know what? I got this.
Yeah. Good job.
That's it. And when you start going, it's not about you anymore. It's about the message you're
What I
sending
fight for.
across.
Mhm.
Exactly. Very good.
Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. You ready? Okay. I got you.
I'm Viviana Maldonado, and I am with LEAP, and I would like to address the topic about cancer treatment. The thing about it is that the treatment, some people cannot afford it, and some people, because they cannot afford it, it's hard for them to receive such treatment. Also, there needs to be a way where it can be improved so that way they could catch the cancer more early and treat it better, and also ways where treatment will be less invasive and less stressful for everyone. My grandma is a cancer survivor, and my grandpa is dealing with brain cancer, and it was a struggle because at first it was hard to get treatment for my grandma due to all the emotional stress that you were dealing with. But the thing is, luckily we made sure to got it cut early, so that we didn't get any further. My grandpa, we are struggling financially with it because his cancer, we did not find it until it was in a stage where it was pretty bad. Because of this, I really think that you should focus on ways to improve the treatment and aspect of it. And so that way it can easily be caught and easily dealt with. Anyway, thank you for listening and have a nice day.
Awesome. I don't know what you were nervous about. You did great. I want you to give feedback.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you did a really good job giving us the examples. You gave us a past example, but then you gave us a current example, so then it's in our heads that this is something that's happening right now, you know, for you and your family. I think you did a really good job telling us what you're looking for and why, in terms of why early detection is important because of, you know, how your grandmother fared versus, you know, the difficulties you're facing with your grandfather, and the financial aspect, you know, making treatment affordable so that, you know, people like your grandfather can access it, just brought it all to a really, you brought it home for us. So you made us feel it, which is important. So you did a good job.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I tell you, Viviana, I like the way it was structured. First, you came across, because I know you are, very sincere. It was a very sincere, you could just feel the sincerity that you weren't just talking about a subject. This was real to you, and you made it real to me as well. I like the way it was structured. You came out, you talked about, I want to address the topic of cancer treatment, and then why that was important, and then you moved into that personal story again that we've talked about, and that was powerful. But then you came out, you then summarized because of this. Then you told us what you wanted us to do. So I thought it was well structured, very sincere, great testimony.
Yes, thank you for your testimony and also for this topic. I'm sure a lot of people in this room have personal stories with cancer and how it's affected our families. And, you know, thank you for speaking about that and bringing that to the committee's, you know, ears. Also, you know, me personally, outside of this, I'll be praying for your grandfather. I appreciated your personal story and your connection. You're very sincere, and you showed so much confidence when you gave that speech that, you're one of many in this room that are natural public speakers. and I really appreciate your voice and your tone when you delivered. You were also very confident. You also gave great eye contact, and yeah, and also talking about affordability. It should not cost that much to treat people in this world. So
because the cancer is a serious problem here in America, and it needs to be treated as soon as possible. As like right there, it needs to be treated right away because it can get worse and things can get worse, and no one wants that.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think your testimony really came from the heart, you know, and I think, you know, it was one of you guys mentioned, like, we all kind of have that experience where maybe a family member or someone we know has gone through this, who has, you know, had to experience cancer treatments, or maybe even we've lost a loved one from cancer.
Mhm.
And so I connected with you on that. And I also just really like the way you took time with your delivery. And, you know, it just really helped me stay with you in the moment. And your stories were very, very good examples of what you were advocating for, you know, the importance of lowering costs of, you know, early detection. So thank you so much.
You don't want to take the students to speak about it?
I would like one, whoever would like to speak about who's funded you to come to A&M for this LEAP event. Who has provided you funding?
All these great speakers in here.
Someone want to tell them?
Carrie, go ahead.
Do I say no?
Do what? Please.
I don't know if you remember me, but I'm Carrie. Who has funded me is TWC, which is the Texas Workforce Commission.
They're vocational rehab folks. They, you know, they used to be DARS, now housed under Health and Human Services, and now their vocational rehab section moved in under Texas Workforce. So the vocational rehab services that are provided, state and federal funding is what's funding these youths to come and have this opportunity.
Wow.
That's great.
All right, guys. That's it. You did it. That's awesome. The hard part's done. Nobody else? Hi, who are you? I'm sorry. Hi. Yeah, I know who y'all are. I'm sorry. I think you stuck in here. Would you want to introduce yourself and say who y'all are with?
Sure. Hi, I'm Stella, and this is Sarah, and we work for Senator Sylvia Garcia from Houston.
I think I've heard of her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm from
Houston. At the
Houston.
end. Awesome.
Well, thanks for coming. Y'all are awesome. We really appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
So y'all have a lot of support. Look at that. We have a lot of people in our corner that